Hello. So I'm Evan McClendon, and I'll title this one, if you're seeing this, then it's not too late, I guess you could say. I know this is probably not appropriate or allowed, but haven't got able to be in touch with one of my partners on this assignment, and I've completed my script, and it's due tomorrow, so I gotta handle business as usual. And then the other partner that I tried to tag along because he wasn't in class, he's not feeling well. Prayers out to Danny, he's going through it. But I guess we should get started. Based off my research throughout the different sources we have today, I found a news article that dove back on a scholar's take on the Bathsheba affair. I've read through the lecture notes. I've read through 2 Samuel 12, just to gain more of a background context in order for this podcast. I know it'll only be me speaking here, but while some Bible scholars characterize Bathsheba as intelligent and determined, others claim that the tales are only like a conjecture. But the one thing that's important is that it is only she who causes drastic change in David's life, outside of himself and his actions, so to speak. Their relationship ramifications will rule his remaining years, and I believe that was one, if not by far, the most life-altering in a negative way in David's life. The author of the article, last name Feinstein, wrote, Bathsheba performed several roles throughout the life of David and throughout the life of her son, King Solomon. One being the passion object, or that can lead to lust, comma, 2 being the wife, 3 being the mother, and 4 being the powerful queen. And because of all that research I've done, I believe that readers should interpret Bathsheba's affair allegorically, meaning think deeper within the context of the text, think deeper than what the actual words say. Because I believe that it's more to it, it's more to the story, there's more to be found within the text. I believe that readers of this text should hope to gain wisdom through the lessons that derive from the failures of David, so to speak. So, with that being said, I'll move to my evidence and observation. So, going back to the scriptures, 2 Samuel chapter 12, verses 10 through 14, kind of outlook that shame and reflection on David's actions, so to speak. I believe this adds a corresponding deliverance and helping understand this affair and the effects of it. I believe it also gives you a take that may be overlooked, honestly. It can really give you the most basic lesson that seems a little bit too basic to look at from the text, but I believe that it provides us the same old saying back in kindergarten. What you do has actions, and consequences. And, if we choose to sin, we may bring difficult and long-term consequences upon ourselves, but even others to add on to that. Verse 10 says, Now therefore Now therefore the sword shall never depart from your house, because you have despised me and have taken the wife of Uriah and the Hittite to be your wife. Thus says the Lord, Behold, I will raise up evil against you out of your own house, and I will take your wives before your eyes and give them to your neighbor, and he shall lie with your wives in the sight of the sun. For you did it secretly, but I will do this thing before Israel and before the sun. So, very, very, very gruesome. But I feel like this is highlighting like God's justice, especially for the willful sin that what David has done. I would like to go to my second piece of evidence, which flips all the way back to 1 Samuel chapter 20 and chapter 21. In chapter 20, verse 26, in a way, I believe it foreshadows David's mistake to come. And in a way, it, like I said, foreshadows, but in a way, they're focused on abstinence, purity, keeping those around them clean. And I feel like there's no question that this is put in the text for a reason, and in this order, that it comes before David in this order. But it says that, Yet Saul did not say anything that day, for he thought, Something has happened to him. He is not clean. Surely he is not clean. But on the second day, the day after the new moon, David's place is empty. And Saul said to Jonathan his son, Why has not the son of Jesse come to the meal either yesterday or today? Jonathan answered to Saul, David earnestly asked to leave of me and go to Bethlehem. So, kind of touching on what I recently said, they were focused on the holiness of the military camp, and I feel like that, in a way, in a small percentage, may often foreshadow David's affair. Not only that I thought it was ironic because Saul and them were focusing on purity, yet the better king, or the one to come that's supposed to be the better king, was impure in this moment in light of temptation. I found on page 271, reading Hamilton, I found in this saying, even more so than the residential camp of Israel is the requirement of purity in Israel's military camp. The idea that God is present in such camp to fight for Israel, and impurity is incompatible with the presence of God. I believe that kind of covers the thesis, so to speak. I believe that we were to see this passage, this affair, as our choices of sin leads to other things outside of God. And God is not fond of your sin, especially when we're willfully sinning. In this sense, David willfully sinned and became impure. So I believe that is another good lesson that's very, very simple, but very, very overlooked, so to speak. How should we teach this passage in Christian communities? I simply believe it should be taught with the focus on highlighting the virtue of humility, destructiveness of pride, and the faithfulness of God's promise. Throughout the passage, we see David succeed and fail. However, I see God's promise for a future king at the beginning and even at the end after that fair. I found that in the lecture notes as well. Although children will witness how David broke God's instructions, it is important for them to also understand how David and God reacted to moral failing. Also, I believe it's imperative to not forget to mention that David is the same one who took down Goliath. So, I do believe in that cliche saying, with great responsibility. I said it backwards. With great power comes great responsibility. Yes. And that will conclude my podcast. Like I said at the beginning, if you're seeing this, then it's not too late. Thank you.